Are you surprised that polls show that more people think that the Civil War was about states' rights, about encroachment of the federal government, than think it was about slavery?
You know, we've grown up as a country with a lot of powerful symbols of the Civil War in popular culture, and that would be Birth of a Nation, D.W. Griffith's classic, and Gone with the Wind, of course. And in that, it postulates, among other things, both films, that the Ku Klux Klan, which is a homegrown terrorist organization, was actually a heroic force in the story of the Civil War. So it's no wonder that Americans have permitted themselves to be sold a bill of goods about what happened. Oh, it's about states' rights, it's about nullification, it's about differences between cultural and political and economic forces that shaped the North and the South. If you read South Carolina's Articles of Secession, the first state to secede, the birthplace of secession, the home of the original fire eaters, as they were called, in reaction to Abraham Lincoln, a moderate's election, they do not mention states' rights. They mention slavery, slavery, slavery. And that we have to remember. It is much more complicated than that, but essentially the reason why we murdered each other. More than 2% of our population, 750,000 Americans died. That's more than all the wars from the Revolution through Afghanistan combined, was over, essentially, the issue of slavery.
And you mentioned that these themes that you worked on 25 years ago in this film have been running through your work ever since then.
Yeah, the main American theme, I think, is freedom. It's about individual freedom in opposition or in tension with collective freedom. It's about states' rights versus a strong federal government. All of these tensions have been in place since the very beginning, even before the beginning. But we also notice that race is always there, always there. When Thomas Jefferson says all men are created equal, he owns a couple hundred human beings. And he doesn't see the contradiction or the hypocrisy and doesn't free anybody in his lifetime and sets in motion an American narrative that is bedeviled by a question of race. And we struggle with it. We try to ignore it. We pretend with the election of Barack Obama that we're in some post-racial society. And of course, you know, we're not. The Onion magazine got it right when he was inaugurated. It said, "Black man given worst job in world." And what we've seen is a kind of reaction to this. The birther movement, of which Donald Trump is one of the authors of, is another politer way of saying the N-word. It's just more sophisticated and a little bit more clever. He's other, he's different. What's actually other and different about him? It turns out it's the same old thing. It's the color of his skin.